Hey, college basketball fans, this is Gary Greene, longtime sports handicapper and professional sports bettor, here for the past 35 years in Las Vegas. And this is my February 1st college basketball update with my final four picks. We'll give you some sleeper picks, and I'll give you a few big-name schools that I'm really down on. And we'll be doing another video after this one on the stock up, stock down. We haven't done that for a little bit. I've been sick. Just cannot get over a very bad stomach bug or a problem that the antibiotics killed my stomach. And so it's been a little bit since I've done the NFL championship games. And I will have a full Super Bowl video here posted on Friday, sometime Friday afternoon. Check back for that on all our Gary Wins videos. But for now, my college final four picks for February 1st. We're going to go with Houston, who I believe is my number one team in the country. And the reason is this team is men. I've said this often about this team over the years. This defense is absolutely off the charts to another level. And that will get them into the Final Four because they're also hungry from getting knocked out last year due to some bad circumstances from injuries. I don't think that this team falls short. This is a hungry team. They're getting to the Final Four. My Duke Blue Devils, I'm not really overly thrilled with the competition in the ACC. I was loving it the other night. I was posting it on X that I loved that they were behind and they had a close game that they had to fight and claw back because they hadn't had too many games like that. And I thought that was a great win for them. They will not be tested this year in the ACC, so their testing is going to come right in the big March Madness. It's going to be difficult, but I think that this team is already gelling with a young team, and they will be even better come year's end. This is a team that's deep, and they can play. Next up, obviously Auburn. Could easily be the number one team, probably are the number one team to anybody sane. This team just can light up the scoreboard. They play very good defense. They're well coached. And as long as this Broom kid can stay healthy, this team is going to make it to the Final Four. Last but not least, I could have picked any one of 6 or 7 teams for this spot, but I'm going with Iowa State just because I love this Gilbert kid. I love the fact that they can really push it in the fast pace when they need to. They play defense that's pretty solid when they need to. They're very on the ball, pesky. That's the type of teams that really frustrate other teams. So when they're having a little bit of an off night, it just derails them even worse. So they're my final 4 picks: Houston, Duke, Auburn, Iowa State. But my next little bunch, clearly Alabama just misses that cut. A lot of my friends tease me that I always am on this Alabama wagon. They won a nice game for us last night. What could have been an easy loss as well, playing on the road against a very good Mississippi State team. I just like the nucleus of this team, and I just think that this team also is hungry, and they will make it as much a charge as they can. Again, I told you that the SEC is loaded, so the good thing for these teams are they may have more losses than Duke, but they're playing tough competition night after night, sometimes 3-4 tough games in a row. And really for Duke, their toughest competition is probably going to come against Clemson. And I hope that Clemson gives them a good game too. And it wouldn't even hurt that Duke team to lose one of those games just to get a little mini wake-up call. But my next group is Alabama, Michigan State. I did a stock-up video middle of December and said this team will not lose a game for at least a month. And that was with about 8 games in there. Well, they ain't lost a game at all in the conference. They're 9-0. We're heading to February 1st, and they still haven't lost. The greatest overachieving team in college basketball. Tom Izzo's best work, I think, in about the last 10 seasons. Next up would be Marquette, who has really talented players. A player of the year kind of kid at the point guard, never hurts. Of course, Florida is a team that can light up the scoreboard. They'll give up a lot of points too, but they fill it up. And when you can fill it up, you're always in the game. Alabama, Florida, always in the game. They have a scoring machine on both teams, and that is something that will get you a sniff every single time. And I'm going to go with 2 semi-sleepers. St. John's is a team that is really gelling. I think Rick Pitino has now got his team that he wanted. And this team is really, really good. And they're underrated, and still nobody talks about them. You still just hear about Connecticut. You hear about Marquette. This St. John's team won, I think, 9 games in a row now. This team is solid, and they have impressed me. And St. Mary's. St. Mary's is a team that plays precision, Princeton, Pete Carell basketball. They got talent. They got shooters. They space the floor. They do backdoor cuts. I watch college basketball games where teams don't run a backdoor the entire game, and that's a bad coaching job when you cannot do that at least 2 or 3 times on set plays, and St. Mary's does it over and over and over. You do not want this St. Mary's team. This is the best St. Mary's team that I've seen in a long, long time. So that would be rounding out my top 10. But I'll add these teams in there. Of course, I really love this Kentucky team. Again, I think they're well coached. They can beat anybody on any given night. Ole Miss, another team, well coached. They have the talent. They got the scoring. They can play defense when they need to. Memphis, I cannot discount this Memphis team because of the fact of one thing. And I gave this team as a stock-up team about 4 weeks ago, I think, maybe 5. And I said this team played the toughest schedule up to January 1st of any team this year. But maybe that I've seen in 10 years tracking this. They played just the nuts of a schedule, and they just keep finding ways to win. At first, I started the year, I didn't like Penny Hardaway with the decisions that he made, but this guy has really gotten this team to play, and they got some grown men on this team too. So they're battle attested, so that's big. Drake and Bradley, I said these two teams in a stock up in mid-December. I really thought these teams were talented, and no one would know. And again, they don't have a great conference, but these two teams, you don't want to play either one of these two teams. One of the best coaching jobs in college basketball, the Louisville Cardinal. This team was a laughingstock. This team sucked beyond belief. And all of a sudden, this head coach comes in there, Kelsey, and doing a fantastic job. You don't want to play this team because they can score. They can light it up, fill it up, whatever you want to call it. You don't want to play this team in the dance. They're going to knock off a couple of teams in the dance. Utah State, I've talked highly of this team. This team is the best team in the Mountain West Conference. The Mountain West is down some this year, but the bottom line is this team has big guys. They got small guys. They box out. They play defense. They can shoot the 3. This team is well coached, and this team is another one you don't want to play. And, of course, there's lots of other teams that you would see, and I've not mentioned, Texas Tech has got a decent team. Sometimes they just play too erratic for me. But there's 5 big-name teams, big-name schools, blue blood type of schools that I don't want any part of these teams. These teams cannot score enough for me, and I don't know why, because they all have the talent. But Tennessee, Michigan, UConn, I said to you in late November, this team was not going they're not winning no 3-peats, and they ain't going nowhere. They're going to be a first-round knockout, I think, in the tournament. They're going to be an 8 or 9 seed, and they're going to get knocked out. Kansas, biggest disappointment in college basketball this year. What the hell is going on? Coaching has been horrific. They can't get the same rotation. They're just still searching for a 5 to go to at the end of the game. Every game it's different. That's a big problem. And last, Texas A&M. I don't like this team at all. I don't like the way that their ball movement is. Very sluggish. And these 5 teams are not teams that I would look to be betting on. I don't like the way that their nucleus is going. And Tennessee in the beginning looked like, wow, their defense seemed, I was calling them the Houston defense number 2. And not anymore. This team has got lit up a few times too many now, and they just don't have the scoring that's going to be needed. They're going to get knocked out. They're not going to go through the Southeast Conference tournament and win that. And then I would be almost looking at these 5 teams as being the teams that could get knocked out in that first round in the NCAA tournament, the way they're playing, unless some drasticness changes. Now, again, all this is contingent on no major injuries to any of these teams, especially the Final 4 picks, or even if anybody in the Final 10 that I like a lot. So this is your college basketball report for Gary Greene and Gary Wins Videos for February 1st. And again, check back a little bit. We'll have another video loaded here shortly for the stock up, stock down, and I'll recap some of what we did over the early parts with stock up and stock downs and see where some of those teams fare. I've really only been really wrong on one team so far, so been good overlooking early prognostications for the future, and we pretty much nailed it all the way. So it's been a fantastic season for me. 44.6 units up. Finally lost a best bet in January in college basketball, and boy, we got murdered with it. Santa Clara +4 down 2 at halftime gets outscored 30-0. I don't think I'll ever see that again. So if you're going to lose, you might as well get the living shit beat out of you. And we'll take that one on the chin. Still can't believe I actually watched that happen. That's very hard to do. And I'm not sure if we'll ever see that again. And Santa Clara is not a bad team. That's just a horrific outing. And that happens. We had been 5-0 on best bets before that in January, and now 19-6 on best bets. So college basketball, my favorite sport of all to bet. And hopefully we'll continue my favorite 2 months of the year to bet any sport, anytime. January, February. January, super success. We hope to have a super success in February as well. So check back. We'll do some more videos in college basketball. Hopefully my health could get just a little bit better. Been a struggle here for me the last 2 or 3 weeks. So just bear with us. But check back often at Gary Wins and make sure you bookmark us. And if you have any questions, you can always email me at GaryGreenWins@gmail.com, and Greene has an E at the end. Have a great one, everybody, and have a good weekend. May all your wagers be winning ones, and never bet what you cannot afford to lose. God bless.